Okay, so Sag, for August, we have your first row here. There's some somber elements going on. You have Knight of Swords in reverse. You have Six of Cups in reverse. Five of Cups in reverse. And then Six of Swords in the upright position. So for the first part of August, Knight of Swords generally represents someone who takes charge on matters. In the Rider-Waite, Knight of Swords is on a horse who's charging up on two legs, and he's going forward into the wind, kind of against the wind. So Knight of Swords, just like all knights or jacks, is clever, playful, romantic, is balancing energies of the mind. So in the progression from page, jack to queen to king, there's stronger levels of mastery. So Page of Swords is willingness to stand up for what one believes in, to defend one's thoughts, that sort of thing. Knight of Swords, or Jack of Swords, I call them both the same, is testing the balance between going forward too fast and holding back. Basically, knights try to balance the energies so it can swing between opposites. And Knight of Swords is a very, very gung-ho kind of card. So it's going forth, being ready to just like run into battle. Because it's in reverse here, it's showing that energy is in suppression. There may be a way in which you just want to go, but it's being held back, like it's being suppressed. Or there may be a way in which you've lost some of your gung-ho-ness, if that makes any sense, or you've lost some of your feeling of wanting to charge into things. Because this energy is present, I'm going to say that there may have been that in the past, or that may be coming up for you, but it's not being allowed. Like, I get the sense, to me, this feels a lot like someone who's waiting in line and just wants to get to the front of the line. They're like, I just want to go, but I'm being stifled. So, I guess what's called for here is some patience. This card in reverse says, have some patience. You don't have to have everything happen right now. This card, Six of Cups, shows two children who are innocent, perhaps a little naive. This is a card of sentimentality. It's a card of innocent love. It can sometimes also mean reminiscence or looking back to old things that have happened, like looking back to the past, or sentimentality. And it's a card of, you could see the boy is giving a cup full of flowers to the girl. It's really like innocent love. It's childlike. It is full of childlike innocence and wonder. And this card can represent someone who you feel like a child with. Because, again, it's in the reverse position. What it's saying is that you might have lost some of that childlike feeling, or you might have lost what was once innocent and pure and fun and, like a flower blooming is losing some of its charm. So whatever it is that you're pushing for to go, happen fast, it's also right alongside the same feeling of maybe having you've lost some of the heart for it, or you've lost some of that initial innocence or charm. This is no longer, this can be reminiscing about the past, and this is like you're maybe forgetting the good things about the past, or there's some way in which it's worn off. The luster of the childlike, innocent, heart-sharing part of whatever's going on is kind of lost its luster. I mean, the luster's gone, or wearing off. So this card is Five of Cups. This card is a card of grief and mourning, feeling like you've lost something. It could be mourning the initial spark of the relationship. Like, this can be infatuation with something. And this could be because it's lost, because it's in reverse here. You could be mourning the loss of that initial phase of something, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a project, whether it is... It tells me it's something to do with the heart, because this is 5 of Cups. Cups represent heart endeavors, and this is 6 of Cups. This is 5 of Cups. So 6 of Cups is that initial beautiful bloom of something. And this is kind of mourning the fact that that's been lost or that's fading away. What I also point out in this card is, I'm just going to say one quick thing, is this card is in reverse, so it's not quite as bad of a loss as if it was in its upright position. You might just feel a little bit sad about it. It's not shaking you to the core, but it's just sort of saying you kind of are melancholy, thinking about the past and kind of in a regretful way, or thinking about like you're missing the sweetness of the past of it. This card, what I like to point out in here is that he's focusing on what is lost, because those 3 cups in the foreground are spilt. But he also, if he turns around, he has 2 cups still available to him that are standing. So one of the things I point out in this card is be sure that you're not just focusing on what's lost. You have the opportunity that there's still something left for you here. There's still something there, but you're just not focusing on it. You're not able to see it because it's behind you. You need to turn around in order to see it. So if you had pushed for something to go too quickly, this is kind of saying to me that sometimes when we burn the candle too quickly and go too fast, the initial phase of something is quite lovely and quite exciting and full of infatuation and just, excitement and just the sheer childlike wonder of it all. It's sort of like Disneyland, but you might be missing that, and sort of full of regret or sorrow or just, melancholy because that did go so quickly. So it's sort of like burning the candle too fast is Knight of Swords energy, really charging forth. You can even see like the tower's on fire here. There's a sense of urgency. When you rush forth into something too soon, it may have a lovely beginning, but it's hard to sustain it, because if you build something too quickly, you don't have strong foundations for it. But you may even just be thinking back to your own childhood and saying, I wish that things were as simple as they were when I was a kid, or I wish things were as they were when they began. That's 5 of Cups energy. It's feeling sad about it. And I think it is related to this card because all 3 of these are in the reverse position as a set together. And then there is a journey indicated here. There is a way in which you're launching from, choppy waters to somewhere that is more stable, more smooth. In this card, there is a figure that is ferrying someone who has been in a state of suffering or endurance, and he's shuttling them away from stormy seas to calmer waters. So that represents a journey. It also represents recovery. Like if there was some way that you have been struggling and things have been really challenging, you're headed for a place that's smoother. And you can relate to either the person who is helping this person out of the situation or the person who's being helped, or sometimes maybe it's both. Maybe you're helping yourself out of a situation or to make it from stormy seas to calmer waters. What this is telling me is that, there, especially with also the coloring in the cards, there's a lot of this bluish gray there's color. It's not this vibrant blue of lovers here, but it's kind of got this stormy feeling. I get the sense that there's some kind of storm that has been brewing, but you're kind of just resigning yourself to it, and that you're kind of mourning over the sweetness that used to be there, the sweetness that was there at the beginning, sort of the innocence, the childlike playfulness that was there at the beginning. You are looking to the past in sort of a regretful, wishing it were the way it was in the beginning kind of way, or wishing things were the way they were in my childhood. and you're just kind of bearing through the choppy waters to make things more peaceful. There's a little bit of resignation in this first week, where you're just willing to you're pondering over the sadness of things. Maybe you went too quickly into things, but you're willing to just carry the load to make it be smoother. So you're willing to just kind of put up with it, be resigned to it. I see you there, but it's kind of like in a blue-gray where it's like a rainy day a little bit, and you're thinking about the past and saying, oh gosh, I feel a little sentimental about the past. Like, why can't things be like my childhood? Why can't the relationship be as rosy as it was in the beginning? Why can't you just kind of are wishing for sunnier times? But you're hanging in there, and you're willing to weather the storm or take the ride from choppy seas out to smoother sailing. So in the middle of the month, Sag, here's an interesting dynamic too. These three cards also. Here we have lovers. I mean, not lovers, but Two of Cups in reverse. Two of Cups is a union of hearts. It can represent lovers. It's not the Lovers major arcana card, but it can represent lovers. It can represent a marriage. It can represent a love affair. It can represent anything where sometimes it can even be best friends, but it's usually more romantic side to this card. It's the two figures exchanging cups, so exchanging hearts. Because it's in reverse, tells me that there is miscommunication in the relationship or some dysfunction, or a way in which this Two of Cups energy is not being presented or having a hard time being presented or being suppressed. Two of Cups is people giving their hearts to one another, so there may be a way in which you're not giving your heart to each other. You're not of the same heart, is what this card tells me in the middle of the month. And because I see this Queen of Swords in reverse, and I see this King of Rods in reverse, it appears to be between these two figures. So King of Rods and Queen of Swords are represented here with this Two of Cups in reverse. So King of Rods is a fire sign. That could be you, Sag. King of Rods is powerful. He's unique. He is bold. He's charismatic. He does things in his own unique way, like Mozart or Walt Disney, where they're creative and they're original, and he does things in his own way. But he's in reverse, so he is definitely part of this conflict of the relationship. And there's also Queen of Swords, who is represented in part of this conflict. So Queen of Swords is more of a mental card. She's generally an air sign, but it's any woman who is strong. She's really got a sharp mind. She can also have a sharp tongue. She is very fair, but also very concerned with rules and obligations and ideologies, because the swords represent the air and mental element. She is very much centered around her mind. So both of these cards in reverse, telling me there's a conflict between Queen of Swords and King of Rods, and neither of them are really seeing things clearly. These are all in reverse, but definitely there's a non-communion of hearts in this situation. There's some way in which there is a standoff happening, and he's looking the other way. He's like, I'm not even willing to participate in this, and she's just like, I'm going to stand my ground. So yeah, in the middle of the month, there may be some sort of conflict. If you relate to this King of Rods card, Sag, then it could be someone that you're dealing with who has a really sharp tongue, or I'm just seeing there's some sort of conflict. It's also interesting too, in this lineup here with these two cards, these are two children exchanging exchanging sweetness as children. This is that Six of Cups card, the two kids giving each other cups. And then in this one, this is two, as they're grown-ups or growing up, exchanging hearts. So both of those being in reverse, what this is telling me is that maybe when the relationship was more new, more idealized, more sentimental, more innocent, it was perhaps more fun. But now that the relationship has matured, you're really noticing the dysfunction of it, or you're really noticing the problems of it. So as this relationship has gotten deeper, you're seeing things, you're seeing the conflicts more clearly, and it's becoming like a standoff energy. This could also be Leo, or this could be Sag, or it could also be Aries. So if there's a Leo, Sag, or Aries person involved, especially if it's a man, that could represent this card. And then this card is generally air signs: Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini, but it's a woman who knows her own mind. She's very intelligent. So those are the two people in conflict. And then Page of Swords. Page of Swords depicts a man who is, or a youth rather, who is standing on the top of a hill and is just ready to fight. So that could either be the fire sign involved because he's looking in this direction, or it could be, it's also echoing Queen of Swords energy, holding up her sword. So in some ways, I'm seeing Page of Swords representing both people here, in just like a willingness to fight and willingness to stand up and defend the ideology. So I'm going to say each one has their own ideology that they're willing to stand up and defend. So I'm seeing the middle of the month as like a standoff. Towards the end of the month, interesting here, we have Emperor in reverse. Emperor is authority, strength. Actually, not so much strength. Strength is here, but he is a strong, powerful, authoritative card, and he usually represents hierarchy, order, laws, regulations. Like the head of the military is usually Emperor energy. So like anything that has to do with a general or gives commands or gives orders. So this could be a boss. This could be a landlord. This could be a father figure. This could be someone who's in charge. And he's in reverse. So whoever's in charge is not seeing things correctly, or he is being challenged. He's not a fair emperor in this upside down position, this reverse position. In this position, he's at least clear-minded. At least, he sets down structure and order. But in the reverse position, Emperor in reverse could be someone who's very unfair, who has authority. And this card, Strength, Sag, tells me that you are going to need to employ strength in dealing with Emperor. So whatever it is, the situation that you are involved in, the order, structure, rules, regulations of the environment that you're in, it's sort of like being in someone's kingdom. You're going to have to employ a lot of strength towards him or towards that situation. These two are looking pretty much directly at one another. He has strength through sheer force and power and authority. She is the definition of strength. She actually gets her strength through being patient and soft and flexible, but you can see that she actually is able to tame a lion through her application of strength. So she is actually true strength. So this is a blonde woman who is applying soft control. That's one of the indications of this card. Instead of trying to force the lion's mouth open, she is gently easing it open, and through trust and patience and just strength to endure the situation, she actually is the embodiment of strength, not Emperor. Emperor he has authority, he has power, he has control, but because he tries to do everything through force and authority and rules and laws, and he has other people go enforce the laws of his kingdom, but he's not the one really who's in control here. He's not really seeing things he's upside down. So you may have to employ a lot of strength towards the end of the month to deal with Emperor. He's in reverse right now. Then there's two more cards. These are interesting together. Two of Wands is personal power, boldness, feeling courageousness on your own part, feeling like you have the world in your hands, like the world is your oyster. It's kind of like when you feel so strong that you can take the world on. That is what Two of Wands represents. Because it's in the reverse position, you are doubting your own power. You are questioning, or your own power is in suppression in some ways. You're not allowing it to come to the surface. You have this capability. Two of Wands is appearing for you, but it's appearing for you in reverse. So maybe you're doubting your own boldness, your own capabilities, your own courageousness. But that's there, so you can access it. It is just having a hard time coming to the surface. Maybe because of this conflict or your entanglements or having to have all the strength to deal with Emperor. And then this card also is in reverse. This is Death. So death usually means transformation of one sort or another. Death is like it pictured here in the card. There's a rose in full bloom. And so once something hits its culminated apex, like a rose in full bloom, the next step is that the petals have to fall off. Once you have learned a lesson, you don't need to repeat it. I mean, you will repeat a lesson until you learn it, but once something has provided all the strength, all the life, all the stamina that it can provide, then it goes into decline and deterioration. That is the lesson of death, is that everything has a season in which it is alive and vibrant and providing some use to you. And then at a certain point, it's no longer useful to you. It deteriorates. The petals fall off the rose. So there's a way in which you are, by death showing up, you are ready to cut this rose. You are ready to move on to the next. You've almost hit the apex of saying, okay, this rose has served me for everything that it's worth. It's given all the life that it has to offer, and now it's going to start to fade. You're almost at that place of acknowledgement, but because it's in reverse, it's being suppressed. It's almost coming to the surface. You're almost at the top of that mountain where you're seeing things in 2020. But so death tells me you're almost ready to let go of this. The rose is almost ready to fall away and wither. But it's possible that because you aren't trusting your own capabilities, your own power, your own boldness, that you're not quite there yet. It's almost like having completed something but not willing to let go. It's almost like having learned how to ride a bike and not being ready to take those training wheels off. Like, you already know how. You've already achieved that. But you're sort of ready to take those training wheels off. Once you are, a great transformation will occur. And also rose and pearl together, there's some gem, also feather in the hat. There's some knowledge, some pearl of wisdom, some reward that you're gaining from this whole endeavor. So try to have strength, try to embody strength, the soft control, soft patience, strength through softness. This reminds me of a saying of, I hang you from above, I support you from below. That's sort of like, Emperor's type of strength is hang you from above. Strength's type of strength is I support you from below. So see if you can identify with this strength card, Sag. I think it's going to give you a lot of good imagery to work with all that's going on, especially with this conflict where both of you are just standing your ground. Both of you are willing to fight for your positions. And then towards the end of the month, when you are doubting your own power, your own boldness, your own sense of that you've got the world in your hands, you are the one, in this card, you are the one who holds the world. There's another person present here. holding the other staff, but they're not even in the picture. It's you. And so through this new knowledge that's giving you a feather in your cap, through this whole endeavor, you need to allow your personal power and boldness come to the surface, because right now in reverse it's being suppressed under the surface. And that will also allow this death card, this transformation card to happen.